To my channel. So using the daylight sun today, which is big for me because I never ever have good lighting, but I don't have any lighting equipment, is the sun, which we don't know what it's doing today, but we're gonna just deal with it. So I first want to go ahead and tell you guys there's gonna be a big announcement at the end of this video I'm really sad about, but stay tuned for that very end, or you can just skip this big old long video, which I hope you don't, because today's the day that I will be talking about my high school story. So first off, just want to tell you guys that I'm not posting this video for attention. Bullying is a thing. Unfortunately, we all experience it sometime in our life, and if you haven't, you are extremely lucky, but most of us have, and that is just the downfall of this video, that everybody has experienced it, but it's not known. Like, nobody knows that this goes on, so I'm not here today to tell you guys, you know, bullying happens, because obviously we already know that. If you've been in school, you've probably attended assemblies, seen posters in the hallway, or anything that reflects on bullying, so we all know that it is out there and it happens. But today I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys my bullying story. I won't be telling the name of the school I went to or any names that actually happened in person. I'll be referring to them as him or her or it, because the place. But this is what it is. Bullying is a thing, and I want my story out there. It's time for that. I've suffered for the last 4 years in high school, and I want people to know what I've been through, and I'm not trying to scare people that's going into high school, because, you know, make the most out of it. It's going to end, and that's something that I didn't realize. I spent most of my time at home, not in school. So you really have to just realize what you do and, you know, what you say reflects on what happens to you. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this right now. I am a strong believer that high school, or school in general, is supposed to be a fun, safe environment for everybody. It's not supposed to be, oh, it's fun for me, and it's horrible for her. It's supposed to be something that is likewise. We're all supposed to be there, getting along and having fun. We're there for 4 years, and we all had to put up with each other for 4 years. Like, there's no way around it, so we should just make the mess out of it. So, with that being said, let's start talking about grade 9, because it wasn't the best for me. In fact, I failed my grade 9 year. Well, I didn't completely fail, but I failed a lot of courses, which later on I will tell you how I kind of recovered and actually graduated on time. But we're going to go ahead and start with grade 9. I spent most of my time at home. It was my very first year of high school, and I know that a lot of people go into high school like in grade 8 or whatever, but I went in grade 9. I was terrified. Most people usually are, I guess. It's just high school. Like, it's that kind of environment where you get scared. So in high school, you have different groups. Like, you have the tech group that, like, you know, hangs out in the computer lab. You have the yearbook committee. Like, you know, they're working on your yearbook, and you're trying to, like, you know, get in it as much as you can. You fail sometimes, you know. And then you just have, like, the popular group, and, you know, well, I didn't fall into any group. I was by myself. And that is one of the things that struck my bullying, because you wouldn't see Kayla sitting in a group somewhere. You would see Kayla walking the halls by herself. And it was horrible. I got pushed into lockers. I got tripped down the hallway. Everything. It was bad. Called every single name in the book. Now, also my fault. I was messing around, and not in any term like that. Nothing went down between me and this guy. We were just together, like dating, if you will. But we had been on and off all throughout high school, or school in general, I guess, when I moved there. But he basically had his group of friends. Like, he was in a group, and I tried so hard to fit into that group, but just unfortunately I didn't. I guess that's kind of where most of my bullying came from in grade 9, because I was so put out with this one guy that was just hanging out with all his friends, and his friends didn't really like me, and that was kind of reflecting his feelings towards me, which downfall is completely wrong, but that's just the way that things work out. Unfortunately, we can't all just, you know, have our cake and eat it too. But things between me and that guy ended, and he moved on. I'm super happy for him. Don't hate him. Hope he doesn't hate me. No hard feelings, you know. You live and you learn. So grade 10, this is kind of where I met a friend, not gonna say her name, but we hung out and she was at my house a lot. This is where a lot of my memories came from, and she actually inspired me to attend school more, but stuff went down with her as well, that I won't talk about, kind of not good for YouTube. I'm not gonna say it, but just kind of slipped under the rocks there, got caught up in being 16 years old, well, I guess 15, 16, but I got caught up with just being 15, 16 years old and trying to run my own life and not listening to anybody and making my own mistakes. We all get there. So that's kind of what happened there. But grade 10, I did stay at school more, but there was girls like the popular gang that hung out together, and they basically just got anything they could on you throughout the school day so that they could go on Twitter later and tweet about you, or post Instagram pictures, you know, reflecting of anything that you might have said or they might have overheard you say. The thing about high school is you don't believe everything that comes out of somebody's mouth unless I'm walking up to you and saying, this happened, blah, 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 blah. You don't believe it because it's probably not true. This is the way high school works, okay? I've been in high school for 4 years, so I kind of make it my business to know how it works, and 4 years, I know how it works by now. It's just as simple as this. If you hear it from somebody else, you don't believe it, because most times whatever you say is going to be turned around anyway, which is the worst thing ever. So I guess the name calling, whatever, it didn't really bother me. I was called every name in the book, and I was referred to as a whore, which made no sense to me because I was still a virgin, but if that is your definition of a whore, that is great. Thank you very much for making my grade 10 year living hell. But I wasn't in any way a whore. I was just a normal girl trying to go to school, which is something that we all had to do. So I didn't really understand why I was getting this kind of treatment when everybody else had to be there and you all had to do the same thing. I have really bad anxiety, and most people know this. If you know me, you know I have bad anxiety. So when it came to like class presentations or anything or another, I would get terrified. Like, you would not see me in grade 10 signing up to take theater arts. That is just something that I stayed away from because of my anxiety. Every single time we had to get up in front of the class, I would literally have a mental breakdown. I would sit and cry, and because of this, I obviously got made fun of. But it's not easy for everybody. Like, you see this girl getting up, and she's on stage, and she's singing, and she's having a great time in front of everybody. Good for you. That's awesome. I'm glad that you fit in that well, that you are able to do that. But some of us, like me, and many other people that went to high school with me, we just can't do presentations. And it makes me so weak in the knees. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And that is something that nobody ever understood. And you know what? Twitter always found out about it. If something happened to me, it was always on Twitter. So let's move on to grade 11. This is where the bullying kind of slowed down. I was telling more people about it. Even my mom, like, she didn't know anything that was going on in grade 9 or 10, but I told her, you know, Mom, this happened in grade 9, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I wouldn't let her speak up for me because it happened so long ago. So she wanted to go to the school and obviously stick up for me because she's my mom and, like, that's something she's always going to do. But I wouldn't let her because I felt like grade 11 was going to be my year and I was going to fit in. Well, that did not happen. Towards the end of grade 11, I actually met one of my closest best friends right now to this day, and I don't have a problem saying her name. It is Taylor. She also does YouTube, and if you guys want to go subscribe to her, you probably should, because she does awesome videos, and I'll have her name down below. But besides the fact that I met my best friend in grade 11, it was so close to being summer vacation, we didn't really get to hang out as much as we planned or wanted to. So I guess that's kind of the downfall of that situation. So I spent grade 11 for the most part by myself again. I had like close friends, like people I went to math class with, and you kind of just knew by then who you should hang out with and who you shouldn't, but that's not the only thing. You get bullied on your sexuality, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, okay? That's not how it works, and I pray to God you never have to witness that, but I had to, and I really hope the girl that made up that rumor, you know who you are. Like, really though? So, that's kind of how high school works, I guess, and I didn't know that until grade 11. I guess. Whatever works. You kind of just live, you walk the hallway. I can't even talk. So you walk the hallway, and like I said, by grade 11, you know who you should be hanging out with and who you shouldn't. I mean, I didn't, because I am just generally a nice person. Like, I try to fit in everywhere, even if I don't. Like, you would never see me hanging out with the yearbook committee, but I never stopped talking to the people that was in the yearbook committee just because they were working on the yearbook. That was not what happened at all. So grade 12, senior year, this is supposed to be the year that you make all your memories in, but the only thing I wanted was to walk across the stage. In fact, let's go back to grade 9 when I failed. Grade 12 was the worst year for me possible, and not because I was getting bullied. Even though I still was, I couldn't really deal with the bullying. I couldn't, go home and, cry, because I was dealing with 8 classes where 5 classes fit, which was, 1, very stressful for me, 2, the worst experience ever. Like, that was a lot of work to do. So if someone said something about me, I was just like, I'd go about my own. I wouldn't really worry about it, because I didn't have time. Like, between school and coming home and my homework and then waking up and do it all over again, plus the days that I stayed home because I was really sick, like, my grade 12 year, I actually caught pneumonia, you can't catch pneumonia, but I actually got pneumonia in my grade 12 year, and it caused me to stay, out of school for a week and a half, and I fell so far behind. Even though I was doing work at home, the work that I needed was at school, and it was just bad. It was a really bad experience. So the friend from before, we hung out all of grade 12, we drove together. Basically, if you saw her, you saw me. That's the way it worked. We were always together. And that's kind of where close friendships happen. I didn't really have time to do anything like, you'd be in grade 12 and hitting up all those parties and whatever. I was the one that was terrified to go to a party. But in grade 12, I actually started speaking up more for myself, because I made it known that I was getting bullied, and nobody did anything. Nothing. They did nothing. So when you say you can't handle anything because it's happening online, I understand that. I wouldn't come home and read all those nasty tweets on Twitter and then go to school the next day and say, so-and-so posted this on Twitter. I'm not stupid. I know you can't do anything about that. But what you could have done about is, I was trapped in the hallway 3 years ago. Yes. Did you do anything? Nope. So let's talk about senior prom. Now, I went to prom in grade 11 as well with my boyfriend, and I got bullied, about the whole thing. It was, why is she going to prom? As if I was, ugly. That's what I took from it. If you meant something other when you said that, and I heard you, you probably should have said, oh my god, she's walking by, she heard that, and then clarified what you meant. But you didn't, so I guess I was just ugly, which... Alright, I know I'm not the best looking person in high school, but are you there to worry about how you're looking, or are you there to learn and graduate? Because I'm sorry, that's what I was there to do. So in senior year, we found out that my dad had a chance of having cancer, and I'm wording this completely wrong, but luckily, he didn't, and it was the best news I probably ever got. It was still scary for me, so being the person that I am, I stepped up and I asked my dad to go to prom with me, which he said yes. So we walked the Grand March and we went to prom and we lit it up and it was awesome. It was a great experience, and you know what? I wouldn't have wanted to experience Grand March and prom with anybody else. It was great to have my dad there, and you've got to think about how much time you have, because you're not promised a tomorrow and neither is anybody else. So I'm sorry that I took my dad to prom. That's something that I got bullied about horribly. So I didn't just go to school and be like, oh yeah, I'm bringing my dad to school. I never looked for attention. That was not me. I was never the one to go to school and look for attention. So I wouldn't go to school and be like, taking my dad to prom, blah, 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 blah. I did. I went to school one day and I said, I'm taking my dad, There's nothing wrong with that. In my eyes, it was the sweetest thing ever. And I'm sorry if nobody approved of my prom date, but he was my dad. He is my dad. So I approved of my prom date. You didn't have to. You could have went to prom with whoever you wanted. You got to pick your date and I got to pick mine. So I don't understand why I got tortured for taking my own father to prom. So word in high school travels really fast because I told 2 people that I was taking my dad to prom, and by the end of the day, actually, no. By 3rd period, everybody knew. So I walked into environmental science, you know, happy as can be, ready to learn, ready to enjoy the rest of my day, you know. Felt great. For the first time in 4 years, I felt amazing. So I was running off of that amazing feeling that I finally got to feel. And then somebody walks in and they say, "Oh, is Kayla taking her dad to prom?" And the worst thing is I was sitting right there. I heard you, okay? You know who you are. You know that you said it. And you know that you sat there and you talked to my best friend, a person who is obviously going to tell me everything you're saying anyway. But I was sitting right there. I heard everything you said. And you know what? Yes, I really did take my dad to prom. So at the end of the day, and all of that week, I got tortured. But by the end of the day, people were coming up to me and saying, "Oh, are you taking your dad to prom? Blah, blah, blah. Is it because you can't find a date?" What is that supposed to mean? Like, are you referring as, "Oh, you're ugly again, you can't find a date"? Because I didn't ask anybody and nobody asked me, because I made it well known other ways that I was already taking my dad. So, how would you put that in other terms? Like, is it because you can't find a date? Maybe I wasn't looking for a date. I wanted to take my dad. And you know what? I knew all of high school that I wanted to take my dad to prom. That's something we talked about in grade 9. So, again, that's an awful thing to bully somebody about. So let's move past it all. This video is very long, and I mean, if you want to know the whole story and everything that happened to me, we can talk for about 8 hours straight, and I can tell you everything. I have absolutely nothing to hide anymore, because you know what? I made it well known that after I graduated and walked across the stage, that word was coming out, and it's out. It's coming out. I was bullied in my high school years. That's it. And you know what? It was a living hell, and I hope that no one has to go through high school the way that I went through high school. Again, I'm not posting this video anywhere. Social media, on YouTube. I don't want anybody to see it and say, "Oh, she's looking for attention." I'm not looking for attention. The video is going up because bullying is a thing. Bullying happens. It happens. It's out there. It's going on. Whether you know it and you want to make address to it, or you don't know it and you pretend like you don't care, it still happens. So you know what? I got to walk across the stage on time with my friends. I only had a few, but I got to do it. I worked my ass off in grade 9 to get to where I'm at, and you know what? I did it, and I'm here. And just so you know, I love my yearbook. I love it. It's great. I'm not in it enough because I didn't post pictures. That's my own fault. Don't go on social media and say, "Oh, she's complaining about the yearbook, blah, blah." No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I love my yearbook. It is something that I'm going to be able to look back on and see every single memory that happened to me. And you know what? That's something that I could not buy for $50 somewhere else. I love my yearbook. That is it. So I'm going to end this video with a thank you. Thank you all that, you know, you bullied me, you made my life a living hell for 4 years, but thank you. Because you helped me find my voice, which is one thing that I otherwise wouldn't have found. So that's great. I'm glad that your life was so miserable that you had to come to school and make somebody else's so miserable just like you. And I have made that a known fact that that's the reason why this happened to me. Because there is nothing wrong with me. I am a human being. That is it. Just like you. Whoever is watching this video, we are probably the same. We are similar. We're not different. We all go to high school to learn. We all have to go to high school. And that's it. So thank you all for watching this video. Again, I'm not posting it for attention. People's going to say whatever they want anyway, and I already know it. My face will be screenshot and put everywhere, but please do. Get a great shot. It's fine. I don't care anymore. And not because I can't stand up for myself, but because I'm just so mentally drained with all of this bullying that happened the last 4 years. I just don't care. You're going to have your own opinion on me anyway, and no matter what I'm doing, you're still going to talk. Everybody's talking about something. And if you want to talk about me, and if I'm the talk of your day, thanks. So I will take the eye rolls and the name calling and the bad Twitter tweets the Facebook posts, the Instagram pictures, they're all there. They ain't gonna go nowhere. And you know what? If someone that went to high school with me, if you know that you bullied me throughout the years, don't say you're sorry, please. Just watch this video and realize what you did and stop doing it. That's all anybody can ask. So, enough of this. I know I said I had some big news, but I'm going to post that as a separate video. This one's kind of already long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. And I just want to say, bullying is happening. If you are a parent and you're watching this video, bullying is happening. And you might not be able to get it out of your own kid, because I am that kid that wouldn't tell my parents anything, but it's going on. If you're a teacher, or you were a teacher, and you're watching this video, do something. Because if there's one thing that I learned throughout the 4 years that I was getting picked on, is that it's never too late to stand up. And if you have been a victim of bullying, tell me your story in the comments. Or be heard and post your own video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon.